Dinner for shoes, please.
Hello, and welcome to an episode of Dinner for Shoes. Today's episode is all about Miley. Miley Cyrus. What other Miley do you know? I am going to remove my glasses, but I just want to say that they're very much a part of the outfit. I feel like I have so many different subtle references to Miley and to the girls that are fighting. So that's great though, because Kit's at least in it. We know the past few episodes she's been sleeping, and luckily she's not right now. She's chewing on plastic over there. But okay, so Miley. My outfit has a lot of different references to Miley, to how she makes me feel, what she has stood for in my life, throughout my life. And I think she likes sunglasses. She likes black. We're going to get into how I love the way Miley Cyrus wears black in just a little. But lately, she's been really leaning into this like badass, almost 80s inspired, all black, but cool, wearing cool shapes, avant-garde silhouettes look. And I just really like these sunglasses. I think that these are some of my favorites. I like how the lenses fade. I think they're cool. I think they really made this outfit. I chose to stick to all black today as an ode to Miley. Miley is such a big topic that I don't really need to explain why I am focusing an episode on her. But as you probably know, if you're watching this, she just came out with something beautiful. Can you not unplug the microphone? Her visual album. And I had the honor of going to the premiere and seeing it. I was among the first people in the world to see the Something Beautiful visual album. And it premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival, and Miley was in the room with me, and that was cool. And I, for my job, have interviewed many, many celebrities. I've been in the same room as many celebrities, and I only was ever really starstruck interviewing Sarah Jessica Parker. And I will say that being in the same room as Miley while not interviewing her felt really cool. And as Miley has grown up and shown her maturity, which we're going to talk about a little bit through various interviews, various press tours, and with each new album, she gets more and more mature. I feel more starstruck being in a room with her because she's this person who has a really good handle on herself and stays very true to herself. And I respect that. So let's start with the outfit behind the shoes so I can at least explain all the different nods to Miley and Miley's style. And then we'll start to dive into literally like my first introduction to Miley and what I've always thought of her growing up. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the actual shoes themselves. What I love about these, first of all, they are so comfortable, and I say this a lot. There are a lot of like big name brands out there that profess like, oh, we make the best black heeled sandal for weddings, and like it's so comfortable. And I do think that a lot of those are comfortable, but I was shocked at how well, maybe it's just the size that I got, but how well these fit on my feet. They also have really, really great padding in them. I wore them to a wedding event a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, these might be the most comfortable black heeled sandals I've ever worn. They're Aldo times Disney. They're a Disney Aldo collaboration, and these with the gold avant-garde hardware on the back, which emulate, if you look really close enough, a shell, are the Ursula sandal. And I just love them. Hello, miss. What, do you love them too? What do you want to say? It's like she wants to tell us something. It's crazy. What do you want to say? Do you love Miley? You love Miley? Oh, my baby, yeah. I actually don't think I've ever brushed her on camera before, but maybe we should do that because I want to show you guys how crazy she goes when I brush her. She gets really excited. Almost as excited as she got at, for the Pollo last week. Anyway, so these, if you couldn't already figure it out, Disney, obviously, Miley's a Disney star. We all know that. So I figured these sandals, they are black. And if you actually check out the shoes Miley's been wearing recently on her press tour, and just to like compliment all of her looks, a lot of them are black. And she just has a collection of really cool black high heels. And so this is my affordable nod to that. I do recommend these if you are into Disney. If you do like shells and gold hardware, which we know I do, these are just a great sandal. And I like them because to me, these are a neutral. Like if you're looking for a simple black heeled sandal and you always wear gold jewelry, this is a neutral, right? And they have a little something extra on the heel. So I really, really like these. Sorry for that. And then I'm just wearing black trousers. These are by Rumored. This is just a black ribbed tank and it's got like a sporty cut. Honestly, because Miley is sporty. I absolutely love the Flowers video and kind of how that inspired everyone searching for her workout routine. We saw how strong she was. She does have such a great fucking good body. She works out. She takes care of herself. So I respect that. So this is just my all black look. A lot of it has cat hair if you zoom in close. These sunglasses I was talking about before are by Otra Eyewear. I really like Otra. I've been wearing their sunglasses for a while now and they're really good quality. They're a good price and they stay in good condition. I have my engagement ring on and I have this chunky green ring because I just think it's really unique. And then I have my Misoma hoops that are two-toned. And I like that, not just for like Hannah Montana references, but because a lot of what we're going to talk about today and a lot of what Miley says about her sense of style and her persona is that she has the put herself out there costume, I'm in the spotlight persona where she really lets her looks speak for her. And then she has the homebody persona. And I really relate to that. And I will talk more about how I relate to certain things she said about her fashion as I read through my notes and I just, pull up certain instances that I want to refer to. But I think that is something like, for example, I just walked outside the other day and someone in my building, they knew that I had gotten engaged and I was wearing my workout outfit. I was about to go on a workout and go to physical therapy. And they were like, oh, congrats, like you're engaged. And the first thing they did was like look down at my hand as if like they needed proof that I was engaged to see my engagement ring. And I was like, oh, like I don't wear jewelry when I work out. And we talked about that in last week's episode, but I really don't wear jewelry even when I'm just sitting around the house. I am that like relaxed homebody. Miley's recently been sharing like some behind the scenes videos of her practicing her choreography for, I think, Easy Lover. And she was just in sweatpants and like a sports bra, no makeup, her hair pulled back. And I was like, that is exactly how I look 90% of the time when I am at home on this couch. And I don't have that type of perspective where I wake up every morning and I'm like, what am I going to wear today? Because honestly, if I don't have an event planned, I'm going to wear my sweatpants or my lymphatic drainage catsuit. That is it. There are no other options. I am not going to do my hair. And just to seal the outfit behind the shoes, I also kept my hair natural. I was about to do my hair and I was like in there and I was going to pick up the Dyson and then I saw my hair and I was like, it actually dried pretty nicely today. I like the way it dried. And Miley always stays natural and true to herself, in my opinion. I think she's done a really good job of that. Whereas a lot of other stars, people she's grown up with, people who have literally been in the limelight since they were in their mommy's belly, they've known fame. And a lot of her interviews, her recent interviews speak to that. They do get affected and they don't stay true to themselves. And I just really respect Miley for doing that. Now, that kind of ties into where my relationship with Miley started. And honestly, it kind of goes through my sister. So Miley is my age. I think she's a year younger than me. But Hannah Montana I never was interested in it. I always loved Disney. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a Disney freak, but I was I was a Disney girl growing up. I wanted to be a Disney princess. And then I didn't really watch Disney, like all those Disney shows as I was growing up. But my sister did. And my sister loved Hannah Montana, and Rachel had stickers of Miley and Hannah all over her bedroom. When I tell you there was like not a free space, I remember she got like a new dresser and my mom was like, do not decorate that dresser with stickers. Do not put anything on that dresser. And like an hour later, we came back in the room and there were Hannah Montana stickers all over the fucking dresser. And my mom was mad. But this was the beginning of Rachel's love affair with Miley. Miley is yes, Miley is queer and my sister is a lesbian and there is that tie. Rachel always says that Miley kind of showed her that maybe, Miley wasn't like out at that time, but Rachel kind of realized she was gay through watching Miley. And I think that's really special and cool because that makes my relationship to Miley, even though of course she doesn't know me, there are people all over the world that feel connected to her for different reasons. And that's like the start of my connection to her. And it goes back to my sister and it's deep in that. And Rachel, my sister, had a hard time growing up for a lot of different reasons. We both have anxiety, but watching her really love something and be excited by something really gave me a lot of joy. And seeing how much joy Rachel had surrounding Miley and Hannah, like, it makes me feel something in my heart. And it's just cool. So even though like Rachel was kind of my introduction into Miley, as we got older, I think I shifted more towards like the one who really loved Miley and was obsessed with Miley. And like, I can say that not obsessed. I'm not obsessed with celebrities. Everyone relax. But I feel like I am. And I like pretend to be Miley and moonlight as Miley. All right. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You can ask Nick. But I really think I am the one who started to gravitate towards her because our lives almost ran parallel. And I was exploring that through her music a lot around the time of Endless Summer Vacation. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But before we do, I just want to talk about her wearing black recently and me wearing black and all of that. So for anyone who doesn't know, Miley's stylist is Bradley Kenneth, and his Instagram is like a shrine to Miley, and respectfully so, because they've done incredible work together. I would say that it was around the time of Endless Summer Vacation that Miley really started to stand out as like a fashion icon. She was wearing a lot of archival pieces. She took a lot of pride in her wardrobe, and you could really see that. And her and Bradley were like making magic together. And I feel like now she's in this moment where she's wearing less. I mean, if you watch, which I hope you have if you're watching this podcast episode, but if you watch the Something Beautiful visual album, you see how she does lean into color, but a lot of the things that she's wearing are very costume-like. In her day-to-day recently, in her press tour, even a little bit on the red carpet, she's really been leaning into exciting black silhouettes. And I almost feel, and obviously like Miley could tell me I'm totally wrong, but I almost feel like it's when she's wearing these cool, chic black pieces that have so much like designer history packed into them, that she seems the most confident to me, potentially feels the most powerful. So the all black outfit that she wears during her intimate performance of End of the World, the song she wrote for her mom, Tish, at Chateau Marmont, I think that outfit she's wearing all black and it's tight. It's almost like black leggings, a thick belt, and a tank top similar to this. Hint, hint. But she just seems, I can watch that clip of her singing that song over and over and over again because there is so much emotion. You can tell she's being so vulnerable, but also she is so sure of who she is in that moment. And that outfit is so simple compared to like a red carpet look, right? But yeah, like she seems super, super confident in that moment. And that's why I do watch that video over and over again. It makes me emotional every single time. But on the other hand, the Something Beautiful costumes, they are more 80s leaning, more costume-like. Now, just to kind of like comment on this juxtaposition, I want to pull and play a clip from her Reclaiming interview. And for anyone who doesn't know, Reclaiming is Monica Lewinsky's podcast. I haven't really taken a deep dive into some of the episodes that I know I want to watch, but I did watch the Miley episode. I'm actually not fully done with it yet, but I watched a clip and she talks about, and I will say that in this interview, I just can see basically like from the start of this press tour for Something Beautiful up until now, I've literally seen her grow in her interviews because I've been watching them. Like I watched the Zane Lowe interview, the Apple interview, I watched the New York Times interview, and she seems the most mature to me and the most well-spoken and the most like, yeah, I'm doing this in the Monica Lewinsky interview. And maybe it's just the connection that the two of them had. They talk in the interview about how they kind of like have some parallels, right, in their lives. But there is this clip where Miley is talking about using clothing to paint her persona and using it as her armor. And I want to play it. because I think it really speaks to the way she uses clothing. And I just want to listen to it again because I love listening to it.
I called it a drag before we got started. I have more of my persona, which works as this armor for me. Because sometimes I feel that if I feel, powerful enough or beautiful enough, I'll have more of a confidence to speak my truth or feel like I'm in character enough to actually be honest. Because sometimes the character helps my honesty in some way.
Wait. I want to unpack that a little. Are you saying then that there is a part of you that doesn't feel confident? If there are ways that in having the outfit or the armor or feeling beautiful, right?
I think it does something that I don't need to do then. It fills a space for me. It gives me a little bit of a break because if what I'm wearing or what I look like is entertaining enough, it actually gives me the space to be quiet. So sometimes at these events, a Met Gala or the Grammys, I'm usually the quietest one in the room, which you wouldn't really assume from my persona, but it's mostly because I don't have much to say in those scenarios. Because they're too, like you use a great word, transactional for me to actually ever dig my nails or my teeth into something enough that I care to have that conversation. So I allow, I hope that I look so entertaining or, mesmerizing in a way that it actually stops too much of a conversation from happening. Maybe it's a way of, being kind of almost intimidating like an animal would do, like having spikes or being able to have venom or show your teeth.
What Miley says about clothes there and how she feels like if she's dressed entertaining enough, she doesn't have to speak. It really struck a chord with me. And I was like, wow, sometimes when I'm putting on my outfits and I know that they're great and I'm not a celebrity whatsoever, but I feel like it almost it's half the battle of showing up in a way, if that makes sense. I am wearing this cool outfit and I know that people will be looking at it and it's almost like I can then be more quiet when I enter a room because of that. And that kind of spoke to me and I was like, wow, I totally get that. And then 2 years ago, and this is just going to start. So 2 years ago is basically around the time that I really started paying attention to Miley as this fashion icon, right? I've always liked her. I've always stood for the same political and social justice issues that she has. I've always agreed with her there. Though I will say there are always times when your favorite celebrity won't do something or say something that you completely back, right? 100%. But it was 2 years ago that I was really starting to pay attention to Miley's outfits and her work with Bradley Kenneth. And she did a Life in Looks, which I love those videos. Vogue does them, but this was a British Vogue one. And when she starts off, if you haven't watched it, you should absolutely watch it. But she just says, I'm doing my favorite thing. I'm looking at pictures of myself. And I was like, okay, this is so me. That would be, if I was a celebrity, I'd be like, yeah, I get to look at pictures of myself today. I fucking love that. She says at one point in that video, when she's talking about all of the great pieces that Bradley has gotten her access to, that she herself has gotten herself access to, she says, I don't want to wear clothes that can be given to just anyone. She refers to all of her vintage pieces in this video as archival museum quality. And I like that. And every time she's wearing something that's archival, she kind of does a little woo and gets excited about it. And her latest collection, since then, she has apparently, according to her, the largest known archival collection that was created by Thierry Mugler. And she actually said that when she was on stage at the Tribeca Film Festival talking about the Something Beautiful visual album. And I saw that moment and I thought that was really cool. Like I said, seeing her walk into that room was cool, but then seeing her on stage speaking about the fashion and the incredible costumes in this movie was really, really cool. And she does wear so much Mugler, and Mugler has been the center of her wardrobe since the Something Beautiful album, but she also wears, and this really dates back to, like I said, Endless Summer Vacation, Alaya, Margiela. She has her own collection of Gaultier. And then I really, really loved the times where she wore Marc Jacobs. And I do want to talk about some of my favorite Miley looks, just because I mean, like I said, they don't go all the way back to Hannah Montana. I can't like claim those as my favorite Miley looks because I really wasn't following her as a fashion person then. But some of like the more recent looks that I will always remember, one of them was Marc Jacobs. She went to the Met Gala when the theme was punk, and this was in 2019. And then after that, she walked the Marc Jacobs runway. It was in 2020, and those moments were really cool to me. And I was like, she is reclaiming this, like Marc Jacobs is a very eccentric, cool, like I said before, avant-garde shapes, really unexpected but bold clothing brand. And I love Miley and Marc Jacobs. I loved her on the runway. I loved their relationship. Just to, give you a complete twist, she did wear Alaya to the 2025 Met Gala this year. And that kind of grew on me because, so the theme this year was tailoring. And the more I looked at it, I was like, this interesting silhouette, this mermaid skirt and this little crop top bolero leather thing, it is very much like Miley's brand of tailoring. And she wore Alaya, and Alaya didn't have a table at this year's Met Gala, but she has this close relationship with Alaya where they dressed her for some of the most important moments, including the album cover of Endless Summer Vacation, which that bodysuit, oh my God, I mean, that will go down in history. That was sporty. This is a reference to that, what I'm wearing today. And I will always consider that one of my favorite looks. And then just speaking of Endless Summer Vacation, she was on Frank Sinatra's estate when she filmed Flowers and a lot of Endless Summer Vacation. And her Flowers look, which is so special, that gold 1991 YSL two-piece set was just so powerful with the hood, singing I Can Buy Myself Flowers in this like crazy glamorous dressed up look. And I will say, like, when that album came out, what she was going through, from what I understood she was going through romantically and in her breakup with Liam, really paralleled my life and my breakup. And those songs all really spoke to me. And what she was wearing at that moment when she was recording those videos, including the Paco Rabanne white mini dress she wears when she sings Jaded with the cutouts and the hardware, that was exactly what I wanted to wear at that time. I could have just taken that entire wardrobe and made it mine and worn those looks over and over and over again in that year where I was kind of like reclaiming my identity and who I was because I lost so much of it in my relationship. So I had that whole 360 connection with her looks from Endless Summer Vacation. And like I said, that's really when the love affair started. And just to talk a little bit more about looks that even predated those, in 2019, she did play at Glastonbury and she wore this Gucci belt and these boots that were actually designed by her stylist, Bradley Kenneth. And she wore it with so much edge on stage. And I think just this like plain white, like ribbed tank. And I thought she looked really cool. Her Gucci belt actually said Glastonbury on the back. And it was in reference to this amazing belt that Kate Moss wore to Glastonbury that also said Glastonbury on the back. And they kind of reminded me of the way she still wears black today. And I think specifically of this like Chanel look that she recently wore to an event. This was during the time she was doing press. And it was just like this like interesting modest cut skirt and top. And I thought she wore it so well. She wore the Chanel bag like no one else wears a preppy Chanel bag. When Miley wears Chanel, there is no sign of prep, in my opinion. I think it's all rocker edge. And I think that's cool because Chanel is known to be this brand that carries so much sophistication and so much prep. I mean, you think of like the tweed cowards, the skirt suits, but Miley just brings this different energy to that fashion house that I have so much respect for. And when I think of that Glastonbury look and like the Gucci belt and how Miley wears logos, I think of this more modern day example. And then another look that comes to mind, I love that she's just sitting here with like her big fat belly out. She's the cutest. Okay, so this is like, I want to also talk about the, two more looks that come to mind. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, I don't want to butcher this name, but she wore this sheer dress recently with just like black underwear, like black panties underneath. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to be wearing. And like, I do love sheer dresses. I love sheer looks. I've worn sheer looks before. I feel confident in sheer black looks. I don't know, there's just something about it. And I saw that same confidence like emit through Miley's look. And this was Ludovic de Saint-Cernin. 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 That's one thing that's different between me and Miley. In the looks video she does for British Vogue, she can pronounce every fucking designer. I like really need to work on my pronunciation across the board. We know that. But I really liked her in that sheer dress. And that was press from recently. And then she wore Schiaparelli for the Something Beautiful premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival. She was wearing sheer again. I thought that was a great naked dress. She wore that incredible, glamorous, floor-sweeping shawl on top. And she deserved to be the spotlight and the center of attention in that outfit. And what's so interesting is that harks back to what she was saying to Monica Lewinsky about letting her outfit do so much of the talking in a moment where she wasn't really showing up to talk, at least while everyone was watching the movie. But then afterwards, when she got on stage, of course, she proudly talked about it. But when she walked into that room, her outfit very much said, I am here. I am the art. You're about to see my art. I don't have to say anything right now. That outfit introduced her. And I thought that that was really, really special and cool. Now, obviously, I needed to have dinner to go with our Miley episode. And I did some research into what Miley eats. And oh my God, because of how stunning her body is, I feel like everyone searches for what's Miley's fitness routine. And you can search and you can find videos of her singing from the top of her lungs on a treadmill and proving just how much stamina she has and how great of a performer she is. Actually, I was in the car driving, it's kind of a tangent, but I was trying to sing her songs and I was like, I could never get my voice to hit that pitch. Like, that's incredible. I think she told Zane Lowe she likes singing in G. And I don't even know what that means because I'm not a singer. I wanted to be a singer once upon a time. And I took classes at the Paper Mill Playhouse. And then Alex, my voice coach, told my parents this will never work out for her. So that was it for me. But anyway, I really do think that she is so talented and obviously has so much stamina. She has a great workout routine. Of course, a good vocal coach. And you can like read all of this about her. But within all of this is what does she eat, right? And if you do some research, apparently there was a time when she was vegan. She tried that for a little while, but realized that it really didn't work for her. She didn't want to eat the animals. And I too had a period of time where I was vegan and didn't want to eat the animals. And I still don't want to eat the animals. And I got really emotional when I introduced animal protein back into my diet. And apparently so did she, according to like an article I saw. And I did, she really is shedding, during all of my research, see that Dolly Parton had a quote about Miley and how Miley tried being vegan for a little while and how when she and Miley get together, they like to just eat comfort food. She named like mashed potatoes. I forget what other things she named because it doesn't really matter. The point is that I was looking for like Southern comfort food in Hoboken, which it is hard to find. And what I was reminded of is that I love deviled eggs. And to me, those represent Southern comfort food. Not only that, and maybe we'll talk about it once they're on my plate and she's trying to eat them, of course, but there is really something beautiful about a deviled egg to me. If you just look at an egg, and Nick and I actually made deviled eggs not too long ago, so I can attest that this is true, but if you look at the egg once it's boiled and you're ready to take out the inside and make it look all pretty, like you would never imagine that it would look like what some really cool, beautifully crafted deviled eggs look like in restaurants, right? So I decided to get deviled eggs today. I also would like to go on a deviled egg tour of Hoboken and Jersey City. Honestly, any part of anywhere, I will do a deviled egg tour. I love deviled eggs. Nick and I both do. And I got mine today from Mathews in Jersey City. Now, oh my God, there are just so many like subtle little references, but Mathews is one of my favorite places for me and my home friends to go to, specifically my best friend Ryan, who loves Miley also. So we have that shared love for Miley and he loves Mathews. And I was like, all right, the deviled eggs from Mathews, that's what's going on. So let me go get them and we'll try them. All right, let's try not to get like hair. Now, this is also the reason why I chose the red plate for today, but when you get deviled eggs delivered to you, let me tell you, they don't arrive quite as beautifully as you might imagine that they would be if they were on the plate in the restaurant. But let's take a very well-styled photo, the best styled photo that I possibly could with these deviled eggs. Because actually, you know what? This doesn't look half bad. It really doesn't. So I'm really excited to eat these deviled eggs from Mathews. Are you? I don't know if she likes deviled eggs. I've never like tried giving them to her before. What do you think? See, Kit's like sitting inside the drapery. Oh, that's good, Mathews. That's good, Mathews. It's very good. She like wants to like it, you know? You don't like it? Oh, she's doing some licking of the yolk. You like the mayo and the yolk? Anyway, these are so good. I'll always be a deviled eggs fan. I know that deviled eggs are divisive. It's another reason why I got them. Some people love them. Some people love to hate them. And Miley knows she's divisive. Miley knows that not everyone is going to agree with her all of the time, but she stays true to who she is anyway. And that's my favorite thing about her. That's my favorite thing about her sense of style. She's open to the fact that she may change. Her persona may change. She may shift in and out of different eras of her life, and she's okay with that. And so I just think that's cool. I think it's great. I think it's special. We're Miley fans through and through, always and forever. Even if we didn't watch Hannah Montana. There's so much like yolk in here. Kit, you want to come here? She's in her little bassinet. I'll bring her over. Let me just finish this egg. Eating a deviled egg is oftentimes like taking a shot. Like I have to just like quickly get that in my mouth. All right, let's get Kit over here. Just to say goodbye. Today you woke up and you told me that you wanted to cry. Here she is. See, I didn't do anything to my cat. She still exists. I love her. I love her. I love her. Oh, and there are Kit and Trish by the great. And it's still June, and you still have time to get your own snipping turtle art. I will say that as well. If you want, check out the episode about my proposal in France and get all the information about the discount code. Okay, we love you. I hope you enjoyed this episode about Miley. I really just wanted to like wing it today and say how I honestly felt about Miley. And I hope I did her justice. And I hope that if she ever sees this one day, she'll agree with what I was saying, that I didn't completely butcher everything that she's been trying to present with her looks. Thank you. Bye. Oh, at Chateau Marmont. Marmont. At Chateau Marmont. Chateau Marmont. Why can't I think of the name of the song that she wrote for her mom right now? Already you're coming for end of the world. Hello. Holy shit. You ready to try deviled eggs? Today you woke up and told me that you wanted to cry.